Hi, awesome. So we are up and live. Tristan, thank you for coming on to my podcast. Please tell
You.
me a little bit about you and all that you do here in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
All right. I just turned 45 and I was born and raised here.
Congratulations!
Thanks. Yeah, I made it to 45. Born and raised here. I've never lived anywhere else. And so I just kind of like everybody else, like I really didn't know what I wanted to do growing up. I had an idea. I read like Helter Skelter when I was in high school. And so then I was like, ooh, serial killers are so amazing. And so I wanted to be like a forensic psychologist at one point. Um, but we don't really have I wasn't interested in moving at that time, just because I'm an only child and my dad was sick most of my life, and so moving wasn't really a thing. But I really honestly didn't know. My life took a weird turn at one point that I wasn't expecting. I ended up with having my son and being in, without going into great detail because we could be here all day, but that ended up being a very abusive in every single way relationship for me, and really kind of what started my self-loathing. I don't, I just, if you've never been there, you wouldn't understand, I suppose. Like my dad just never understood. He's like, why would you put up with that? And I was like, you don't mean to. It just, you become groomed or brainwashed or whatever that looks like. I was able to get out of that situation, and I met my husband, who I've been married to for 20 years, shortly after. Actually, I wasn't even looking because at that point I was like, no more for me. Um, but he came along, and my dad, like I mentioned, my dad was sick most of my life. And I, just with everything I had been through, and I didn't have any coping skills, I didn't do any kind of therapy or anything. I just kind of kept going with life. Sorry, I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, I just kept going with life, and I would lay down at night, and just like my heart would be racing. You could like hear me breathing because I smoked like a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. I drank like 100 ounces of Mountain Dew a day. Um, Ate whatever that was not healthy. Probably I ate a lot of fast food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would just lay down at night and think to myself, I'm gonna end up like my dad, who was sick my whole life, if I don't start, getting my stuff together.
Yeah.
By that time, I had had my daughter. Um, I was 21 when I had my son. I was 20 when I had my son, and 26 when I had her.
Wow.
Fast forward, I was about 32 when I was like, I need to do something with
Wow.
myself, or I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
So I have a friend, and she had messaged me, and she's like, check this out, and it was like a picture of herself, and I could tell she had changed something in some way. And I was like, what are you doing? And at the time, there was a gym here in Cheyenne called Fit Body Boot Camp, and so I went to talk to the owner, and it was a Saturday morning, and she was like, you you really have to cut the cigarettes, and you really have to like ultimately cut the Mountain Dew, and like just get active, start making slow changes. And so that's what I did. And that Monday, I quit drinking Mountain Dew cold turkey. And what a headache that was for like 4 days.
Oh.
I didn't quit smoking cigarettes for quite some time. But I changed the way I eat, and I immediately, when you go from nothing to that, you usually see results pretty quick. And so I had lost like an amazing amount, like really pretty fast. I had lost almost 50 pounds. In that short period of time, I was just like, I fell in love with it. Um, and with just moving and fitness and having that in my life. And so all I could think about was being there. Like, I couldn't wait for the end of the day because that's when I would go work out, and I just wanted to be there, but I wanted to be there like all the time. And so I was working for Medicaid at the time, which, well, it wasn't really fun. It was the job to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I would talk to the owner and say, do you need help? Do you need an assistant? Like, do you need anything? I didn't really know that I wanted to be a trainer at that point, or like any more than just being around the gym. I didn't know that that was where that making that change would lead me to here. But
Yeah.
I just knew I wanted to be there. So I took a huge leap of faith and quit my full time job,
Yeah.
and went to work for her part time in hopes that it would make its way to full time. And and there was a few times where I cried a lot because I was like, "What am I doing? Like, we're like dirt poor now, and all this stuff." But over time, it ended up working out, and um, me and the other we didn't really want to leave, but we were kind of felt pushed into a corner. So we ended up leaving, and we ended up opening with the help of our now majority owner. We ended up opening HIIT30. And so November of last year was 9 years. So in that time, I became a trainer. I decided I wanted to be a trainer, so I became a trainer. Um, my dad died 11 days after we opened up HIIT30. So talk about like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, it's just they were there for me. If it wasn't for them, like I honestly don't know. I'm an only child. I'm close to my mom. I was very close to my dad. So that was a huge loss for me. But they allowed me to keep going, and so HIIT30 just means so much to me. And that's where I'm at today. So I own HIIT30. I co-own HIIT30, and we've been open for 9 years. And in that time, I just like with everything I've been through, I had a really good upbringing. My parents would still be married if my dad was alive. They were married for 38 years. They were only ever with each other. Like my dad was the best man. Like I never heard him call my mom a name. I never heard him raise a hand. Like I had a great upbringing. So the fact that my trauma all started at an adult age, about, well, 18, so adult, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, but it was enough to, I think that's why I like fell in love with fitness, because it was my therapy. There was no I didn't have money for therapy. Um, so and I actually didn't start doing therapy until last year. So for 19-ish years, I pushed through. Um, and while I believe that fitness is a wonderful outlet for people, I think we have to have like a whole, everything has to be good, right? Your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, and all that. And so I just wanted to give to people what fitness gave to me. Is pretty much, and I hated I was self-loathing. I mean, that's clear by the choices I was making about the things I was putting in my body, and so as I started to like work out and stuff, I started to gain confidence in myself. I at some point, this was after we opened, like right after we opened HIIT30, and right after my dad died. I was like, I'd always wanted to power lift, so I said I'm gonna do it. Like my dad is gone now, and he was always sick, so I mean we knew that there was always a possibility, but you just are never prepared for that. And so I was like, life is just too fast, too short, and if you don't do the things you want to do, then what are you even doing, right? So I started to power lift. I had a couple coaches in town. I had some online as well, but I don't know if you've talked to Travis yet, but Travis was my coach,
Yes.
Bogart.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's
Oh,
pretty
such
amazing.
a small town.
Yeah, yeah. He's pretty much amazing. He's very, very, very knowledgeable.
Incredible. Yes.
He,
Absolutely.
if I have a question about anything, he's the first person I think of. He's the first person I will ask, because he knows everything about everything when it comes to the mechanics of the body and stuff like that.
What a resource.
Yeah. Like this community is blessed to have him. I mean, when you get into that, moving your body and why are you doing it, he can just has a way about explaining it, and you might not like it, but he's great. So yeah, he was my coach.
How long have you been doing that?
So I started powerlifting in 2017, and my last meet was in 2020, and it was actually at HIIT30, which was really cool. Um, and it was the best meet of my life. So it was really kind of a neat thing to have it be at HIIT30. I didn't know it was going to, and I probably may compete again. I'm not sure. But I also had COVID at that time and didn't know. So it was on a Saturday, and my son was supposed to come, and I remember he called me, and he's like, "I'm really sorry, like I don't feel good." And I was like, "Well, yeah." At that time, COVID was the thing, so I was like, "Well, don't come here." And I didn't feel bad yet, but he tested on a Saturday, and at that time, if you were around anybody, you had to test. I don't know if you remember that. So, I mean, how could we forget, right? And so me and my daughter went to go get tested, and our results didn't. That was on Wednesday that I tested. And the results came back on Friday, and they said I had COVID. So I'm fairly certain I had COVID during that meet because that was only about 3 days. So it was already in my system. But I did have the best meet of my life. And so my squat was 407, my bench was 209, 203, sorry, 203, and my deadlift was 407 as well. So yeah, it's really something I'm proud of, and I know that my dad would have been proud of me, but most of all, like it helped me heal the most after losing my dad. And probably through some of the trauma that I just shoved down, sometimes you just shove it down. From my relationship with my son's dad. And so it just really helps me. I do miss it a lot. So COVID just messed it all up, right? Like just messed everything up. And like, I guess I naturally from that took like a different path. Although I do want to power lift again. I'm currently going through menopause. And I'm really young. I'm only 45, but I'm like 5 years in. So I've been going through perimenopause probably since I was about 35 or 38, somewhere in there. So, life just happens and takes you in different directions. But at the end of the day, fitness is always there. So for me, I think moving the body is the best thing any of us could do. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you just regularly work out then at HIIT30, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so I'm the head trainer there. I'm the only full-time employee. So I train our classes. We have a class that starts at 4:45 a.m. So I wake up when everybody else is still sleeping. And then 5:30, 6:15, 8:30, noon, 4:30, and 5:20. So that's all of our class options throughout the day. And I train all of them from 4:45 through the noon class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I don't even have an opportunity to do a workout really if I'm going to do HIIT until 4:30. So that's on Monday and Wednesdays I do HIIT. And then we also do Zumba at HIIT, and so I love that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's just like simple cardio that's fun, and I can dance around. um, yeah, and so I honestly like lifting has taken a little bit of a back burner, but my body. I did like 9 meets from 2017 to 2020. So like what, 3 years? So that's like two a year or more. And so I mean, me and my friend that lifted at the time together, we both qualified for nationals, so we went to Vegas together, and it was just one thing after another. And so I think my body was like, hey, let's put the brakes on. And it's been really hard for me when you identify as something, whatever that is. So for me, I am a power lifter. Like that's what I identified as. That's what part of what made me proud of me, because that's not a feat many people can, especially a woman, not no offense, but can say that they can do or have done. So I tried numerous times to get back into it. My body always hurt, or it just wasn't the right times. Whatever the reason was, I never really said I don't want to because I always want to. But I've gotten many people at HIIT30 into lifting weights as well, and like I've taken a couple people through, like Travis had a mock meet one time, and my mom, my daughter, and one of our trainers at HIIT did that, and then I trained another person through their first sanctioned meet. So, I mean, it's really fun to be on that other side and be coaching. To see the excitement in their face, because really all it does is just build your confidence. You know, when you do hard things and that your brain tells you you can't do, and then you do it, that's just a confidence builder, you know. So I do push people in class. I'll ask them to pick up heavier weights or go a little faster on this or whatever the case is. And so I just love it. It's my favorite when people go, I did that. And I'm like, yes, you did that. Just believe in yourself. I believe in you. You believe in yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And that's part of what I love about HIIT30 is we're not literally focused on what you look like, because if we are focused on what people look like, or you know, judge them on their abilities based on what they look like I don't look like your typical trainer. You know, I never have been a small person. I'm short, but I'm not small like as in tiny. But I have come to accept that people accept me for who I am. And if they don't, then that's fine. But you know, I don't think that I've won best trainer numerous years in a row without. It's not about what I look like. I truly feel like people can feel my passion.
Hmm.
So we are about living a long, healthy life, regardless of, you know, what you look like. Because what you look like doesn't mean that it's nothing, right? I'm really passionate about people being able to move into their old age and not sitting on their bum. You know, like my mom just retired in December, and my grandma's 86. She still is kicking, you know. And I said, yeah. And my mom comes to to the gym every day, and she works out. And so after she does all her stuff, I said, you should start taking grandma to the mall and walking around the mall. And so my grandma is fairly sedentary prior to that, like especially in the winter. She loves to garden and all that, but in the winter she's fairly sedentary, right? And so my mom has been taking her, and now she, like, at first it was like once or twice a week, but my grandma wants to go every day now.
Wow.
And she's 86. So it's never too late to start.
No, what an inspiration.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So has like the people you've been working with, or who is it that you like ends up pushing you to feel like this need to like grow and then like do therapy and like still, you know, be moving on, be moving forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the kids, you know, they were, let's see, my dad's been gone 8 years. So my daughter doesn't really remember it as much, but my son was 15, and he and my dad were like this. And so he, if nobody, I don't know if people can see that, but they were very close.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that was hard on him, and I just really had to push through. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and my trauma that comes from my ex, from his father, is something that I literally just pushed down. And so the problem with that is if you don't deal with things, and by what I like going to get therapy or going to talk to a professional, um, it might seem okay, but like there's always going to be a trigger. And so without getting too like weird, my trigger happened when Donald Trump got elected. And the reason why that is because him and my ex are like two peas in a pod all the way down to the pedophilia. So it's very triggering for me. And I said I was going crazy. I cried for like a week because I all of a sudden felt trapped in a situation with someone who I can't get out of. With someone, and I can't get out of that situation, and I felt trapped. And so I said, I got to do something about this. Like this, I can't do this. I have other people, my kids, my family, HIIT30 clients, my coworkers, like
Everybody
people
sharing
depend on
body.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm like a hot mess on 24/7, and
Oh.
people clearly see I'm kind of a person who just wears that I'm an open book. So people know more about me than they should probably. But I just knew that I could no longer run from it. Um, and so, because nothing had really triggered me quite so awfully than that. And so, um, I called up a therapist and said, I need to see you.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing her nearly every week for a year, over a year now. And it's been the best thing that I've ever done. So, that's why I'm really big about, it's not just about what you look like or what you can do. Like, you have to take care of yourself as a whole, as a whole unit, not just your physical part. Because if your physical part doesn't change, I mean, if your mental part isn't changing, then your physical part may not, or it might. And then you think, this is the one thing that, speaking of this, many people say, if I could just get to 150 or whatever their magic number is, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I would be happy. And I'm like, I used to think that same way. But I'm now in a different spot, years of growth and all this stuff. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
how do I get people to realize that it's not, the number is not everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just people are so stuck on that and they put their self value and their self worth on what the scale says. And so I truly try to change that pattern of thinking, but it's really hard when society says tells us we need to look like, act like, dress like. And so I try to get people when they come in to be like, okay, we're here for, for physical, for mental. You don't have to tell me what your issues are, but people can fight their demons while they're working out, or whatever that looks like. We've had people cry during class through the whole class because they're going through stuff, and nobody people just leave them alone and let them do their thing, and
Yeah.
they know that we're there for them. I've been one of those people, um, but yeah. So I just think that I wish fitness was geared towards the whole health,
Yeah.
instead of just one thing or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, outside of being an owner and doing all the fitness stuff and the mental health stuff, like, who are you? What do you like to do on a random Saturday with no classes to teach, or maybe your kids are gone? What do you love to do?
Well, my kids are adults, so thank goodness for that.
Yes.
My daughter does. Still, my daughter still lives at home. My son lives here in Cheyenne as well. So, but
Cool.
I used to be the person who's like, let's go out and do things. Like
Mhm.
we always have to be doing something. Because it's boring to sit at home. But
Mhm.
I've slowly reached the age where that's kind of turning the tide, right?
Mhm.
And last year I just decided that I wanted to be garden. So I really got into like gardening, and I grew up, I grew food and and flowers and all kinds of stuff. I love doing that. I do like to do random fun things. But honestly, I am so busy that I really and I'm around people 24/7, like pretty much. From the moment I wake up at 3:50, as soon as 4:36 ish hits, there's somebody in the gym, which is great. I love that. But I am around people and so many different energies and so many different stuff. So I used to be that person that didn't need a social battery recharging day or days. But I literally just love my daughter as my best friend. And so my mom too. And so we hang out a lot. I like to do game night with, the girls. Like I also play bunco. Like I have bunco tonight. um, I love to walk my dog. My dog is like my other best friend. She's a pit bull. And her name is Luna. And if anybody knows anything about me, they know that she's my girl.
Yeah.
So I love to walk her because she loves to do it. So I'm like, it brings her joy and it brings me joy and it brings me physical activity. It's also a place where because we'll usually like walk at least 2 miles at a time. So it's a wonderful way to either, I can't do it without music, but it's a wonderful time to be like, think, just, be in your thoughts and slow down for a minute and stuff like that. So I've reached a point in my life where I'm like, yeah, we're not getting any smaller or any younger. And I truly, the last 5 years or so have just been working on like that path. Like, I took 40 years to figure it out, and I finally think I like know who I am and who I want to be, and the things I'm not going to do anymore, and the things I am going to can start to do and want to do, and you know, I wasn't raised like all these things about me. I wonder if people really knew like I'm not super religious. I'm more like nature. Like I follow, like, you know, we have Ostara tomorrow or whatever, and so that kind of stuff excites me. And I usually don't worry and wonder about people judging me and stuff, but I do worry about that just because of the nature of things, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but pretty much, I just, yeah, I spend a lot of time at home, and but I also do like to go have fun. Like I just took my daughter to a Nuggets game on Tuesday, so like I just really try to like balance that out, and um, yeah, and I love people, and so I like to. I'm probably too trusting sometimes, but I figure, um, you know, when um, if somebody messes me over, then I just need to. I used to like go and like chase them and be like let's work this out, let's whatever, and now I'm just like, you know, if we don't match energy, I don't have to hate you, I don't have to anything, but like I don't want you in my space. Like I'll say hi and be respectful, but I also don't need negativity or things that don't align with what is going on with me right now.
Yeah.
I like that close to me. So
Hmm. That's
yeah.
awesome. What would you say is something that you're like really proud of that not many people know about?
Oh dear.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. That not many people know about. I think, yeah, that's a really hard question. Because usually, so with the age of social media, that's a hard question because we
Yeah.
put everything on social media, right?
Everything. Yep.
And so, but with the, that just made me think of an answer. One thing I am proud about is, and it's very probably insignificant to many people, but I wasn't raised with it. I'm right there at that age. I didn't have my first cell phone until I was 21. So I wasn't raised with a cell phone. Um, and then it was another probably till I was 30, in my early 30s, before they started getting smart and they started having, you know,
Yep.
so these phones are very I don't know. I'm so thankful I didn't grow up with one because they are very addicting, right? And so one thing,
Right.
yeah, and like being on social media, and I'm a very vocal person, and I'm very, um, if I don't like something, usually people will know about it.
Yeah.
But one thing I have done is put the phone down, um, a lot more. You know, and people probably say you do. Like I don't post on social media like I used to. Um, I don't let all my thoughts out on social media like I used to. I've become much more aware of it. But mostly I just will, like, on a Saturday, like, I'll get stuff done now because I put my phone down and walk away and go do stuff. So for me, I'm proud of that because it took a lot to get there because I was addicted to the phone. Like my husband has worked nights most of our marriage. And so and he's also in the Air Guard, and so there was 6 months stint where he wasn't you know with us because he was deployed and stuff, and so you become dependent upon whatever's around, right? And so as my kids got older and they were at work and they were doing their things, and then my son moved out, I turned to the phone as my connection to the outside world as we have now. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of the fact that I've been able to. The only thing that's done for me is like now I look like that person who never answers their phone.
Yeah. Yep.
So now I'm like trying to find this balance. Like check your messages, but do not go to Instagram or Facebook. And that is like literally those are the two I use the most because I'm a boomer, you know. But
Hmm.
I don't do a lot of TikTok. I'll get on. I do have one, but yeah, it's like I'm struggling to like go to check my messages, my email, that kind of thing, and then staying away from the social media. And people are like, just delete it. Well, when you own a business, it's not easy to delete it.
No.
Like they, my kids would be like their whole life, you're on your phone. You're always on your phone. And yes, while about 50% of that was not necessary, a lot of times whenever they would say that, I would be working. Like I would be making a post or doing something on the, you know, whatever that looks like. Um, So yeah, it's I'm trying to currently find that balance, but I am pretty proud of myself because I kind of went from one extreme to the other. So, and I don't know if anybody's noticed because nobody's really said anything to me. Like, actually, one person did. They had sent me a message and they're like, "Hey, I haven't really seen you any posting anything on Facebook. I just was checking in to make sure you were good." And I was like, "I appreciate you so much." And I was like, "But I am trying to like stay away from it a little bit. I need a mental health and neurological like break
Yes.
from it." So, and with that, like I just hope that Hit 30 can be that place. And so I am also working hard not to let my opinions come out as much because I am a business owner and I don't judge anyone based on their opinions or views. But as a business owner, it's hard to live in this current state that we live in. Not state of Wyoming, but state of the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's yeah, but for the most part I think fitness music, it's one of those things that no matter what you can it'll bring people together, you
Yeah.
know, because
Absolutely.
we all need music and we should all be moving our body. You
Yeah.
know.
I think more people need to move their body, especially after COVID hit and like everybody was like shut in at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I would get like 10,000 steps a day before 8 a.m.
Wow.
And when COVID hit, because I'd be training and it's just constant walking, and
Yeah.
so when COVID happened, what we actually did was we had everybody come through like a line. It was like a line, and they got to choose a set of weights or a kettlebell or a ball or something, a piece of equipment, and we checked if they wanted one, and we checked it out to them. We wrote down like what they took, blah blah
Wow.
blah.
Yeah.
So that so what we did when because everybody closed, so we us three went into the gym, the other two owners and one other person. We would go into the gym, we'd get there like we were running class, go live on Facebook, we would take turns writing the workout, we would do our demo just like they were in class,
Wow.
and we would do it live over Facebook. We did it
Wow.
Monday through Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
And so then they at least had a piece of equipment or whatever to use. We really had to change up the way we write the workouts because, you know, we couldn't do box jumps and half the stuff that you can do with equipment. But we made it work. We actually gained clients during COVID instead of losing clients. Um, yeah, and we made it through it, and it was a it was a great like time. But now, I mean, to get through that because lots of businesses didn't make
Yeah.
it through. Um, so, and I'm in menopause, so I apologize. I lost my train of thought.
No, it's totally
And
fine.
any woman that will be listening to this in menopause will fully understand where I'm coming from.
Totally understand. I get it. Speaking of menopause, like what scares you the most about getting older?
That's such a great question. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, as you get older, obviously you think about like, oh, you know, we're
Yeah.
things. And so the thing I think that scares me the most is not. I can't imagine not being on the earth with my kids, and I won't even know what that's like, right? Because I'll be not here. Um, but I just don't want to leave the people I love behind, and so. But the thing that I thought about the other day, I was like, you know, I want. Does anybody ever think about like how they're gonna die? Like, how am I gonna go out? Is it gonna be peaceful? Is it gonna be awful? Is it gonna be sickness? Is it gonna be hard? Like, you just never know. And so that it makes me then takes me to the next thought. That's like you should just and because like, you've heard the saying where people are like, well, you only live once, so eat what you want, or you only live once. You know, you don't have to do all these things. But it's like
Yeah.
that's the point. You only live once.
Yeah.
You don't get another chance.
Yep.
And so you might as well make every single day that you are granted like the best one that you can. And that's why like, kind of like I don't love excuses. I don't love them. But you know, I try to meet people where they are as well. Like some people just don't have that intrinsic motivation. They need something else on the outside to motivate them. So like a prize or you know whatever that. So when some people thrive with prize driven activities and other people could care less. So it's really hard and because not everybody's the same. So trying to meet everybody where they're at, you know, and during the day there's only one of me there. So that's why as I've gotten older, I've and like the hormones are like all over the place.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, this is so great, and other times I'm like, just pissed at the world, right? For no reason,
Mhm.
no reason at all.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and I mean, women are in generally our hormones fluctuate with us like that, anyways. So in menopause, the one thing about menopause is like the forgetfulness that I've had. It just gets worse. I lose my train of thought in the middle of a conversation. I've also self-diagnosed me myself with ADHD for years, and it got to the point where I couldn't mask anymore. So I went to the doctor. We did our thing. I answered all the questions,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, that's a problem." I was
Well,
like, "I knew it was a problem. I've been able to mask my whole life, but literally menopause made it impossible." So I'm currently taking Adderall um, for that, and I mean, when I took taking the Adderall, so I've been on it for like almost a year and a half now.
mhm.
And the frustrating part on my end is like been doing HIIT style workouts for since 2013.
Mhm.
I power lifted for solidly for three
Yeah.
of those years and did HIIT still. I also, I did 75 hard in there as well, so while I was still powerlifting.
Mhm.
And that's no easy feat because you got to do two workouts. They have to be split up between morning and night, or at least 3 hours apart. One has to be outside, one has to be inside. All these things, you have to drink a gallon of water a day. So through all these things I've done and tried, it was like I could never get my body fat to drop, no matter what I did. And the one thing that's made that work is the Adderall because one of my biggest symptoms with the ADHD is the food noise. I It's so bad.
Mhm.
And so the it was so bad. And so the Adderall helped that. And I was like, whoa, like normal people actually only eat 3 meals a day. Now, I was probably eating enough with based on my activity, based off my activities that I was doing, just because that's a lot of movement and a lot of output, and I needed to be putting nutritious foods back in. Um, but I also hate tracking, so I'm that person who it just doesn't work for me. I have to be more of a mindful eater. So I think what the Adderall did for me was make me more mindful. Um, it's not that I was eating bad things because I wasn't. It was just that I was always eating because my brain was like, eat, 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 eat all the time. And so that's frustrating to me though, because, it's like I did all this work and did all these things, not for that reason, but you would
Yeah.
think you would think that I would be like a lean little string bean, but I never did get there. But the Adderall has helped me a lot. Um, and so I think people just need to, I wish women, my one plug that I would like to put in is that the importance of lifting weights as women get older.
Yes. Or just in general, I think women don't realize how important that is.
Right. I mean, yeah, like my daughter is 18 and so she obviously was right at the most impressionable age when I started Fit Body. And she's come up and now she's fit, she works out, she tries to eat healthy as she can. I mean, she's 18, but and she yeah, see, lost my train of thought again. What was I saying?
You're talking about your daughter and even how young she is and being fit and all of that. I'm assuming it's just like even more of a
Well,
push
yeah, so
from.
lifting weights is so super important because I think
Yeah.
what it's given her, thank you. I think
Yeah.
what it's given her is like the confidence, you know. Um, and the like one thing that she would like to start doing is when she has time. She's also in college, but she like really wants to. Um, so I've really pushed on her the importance of self love, self
Mhm.
worth,
Mhm.
not being dependent upon one other human,
Yeah.
regardless of who that is. And so, especially a boy or a man, because let's just be real. Like everybody wants a boyfriend and girlfriend at a teenage, and she's never had one. And so I'm proud of that because it tells me that what I've taught her, although she does struggle with it, she does struggle with, well, I've never had a boyfriend, this, I want one, blah. Um, and every time she says something like that to me, I'm like, you don't need one. And if you're like, I always say, like, do you love yourself? Are you still feeling all these things? Because if not, then now is not the time. Like, I think you need to be, you know, strong in who you are. And so that when you need to say no to somebody, or this is not okay to somebody, you're not going to treat me like this, that you have everything inside of you and all the power to say it. Because why do we get into abusive relationships? Nobody starts out that way. Nobody would ever be with someone if they were like, pop, you know, or just being mean. And so I tell her, the first red flag, you got to go. I'm sorry. And you need to tell the person, if you show me a red flag, I'm out. And so me teaching her that her whole life has inspired her to want to teach other girls, teenage girls, to have that same, like, that same self-love, that same, gumption, and to tell somebody, like, no, you're not going to do that, or whatever that is. And it's proven effective for her. So I told her, you should get certified, in personal training, because I think you don't need to be for that, but and then you should do that, because I think, as wonderful as an upbringing as I did have, my mom and dad didn't really, I think they just assumed I, like, had that self-love and that self-respect and that, self-belief in me, in which I did. But there was something disconnected, because, like I said, I didn't get rid of him the first flag he gave me. I allowed him to apologize, and then it would happen again, and then I allowed him to apologize again, and then it happened again. And so that's where that's my biggest fear, is, like, my daughter getting with a man who is going to treat her wrong, and
Yeah.
I can't be there 24/7, obviously, because
No.
that's just weird. So
Yeah.
my goal in life has been to make sure that she and my son can tell people, no,
Yeah.
you're not going to treat me like that. I don't hate you, but I also don't need that in my space right now. So
Right.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
um,
And I think like
and
boundaries and stuff like that is so important, especially as like a business owner. You start to learn boundaries real quick.
oh, like, literally, I've had to tell myself, because when we first opened HIT, it was every time my phone went off, I was on it,
Oh,
answering questions, no matter what time it was, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. I mean, if I was awake, if I was sleeping, no,
right.
but
Yeah.
I would get messages at, like, in the middle of the night from people, and
Yeah.
and it becomes overwhelming, and so
Yep.
over time, I was like, um, okay, we're not gonna do this and
Yeah.
after 9,
Right.
and then it was like after 6. And so now I'm to a point where, like, I can kind of see that message as it comes in, and if it's important, then I will answer it, right? But if
Yeah.
it can wait till the next day, then I will. But I'm currently in that point where I'm struggling to find that balance between getting on my phone to do what I need to do,
Mhm.
and getting on my phone to, go search out stuff my brain doesn't need, or whatever comes across your news feed. You can't, like, help it. So
Yeah.
I'm currently in that struggle, but I think that the boundaries as a business owner is huge, because especially in my situation, like, I could easily become friends with, well, I would say I easily am, at least, like, friends, right,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
over half of our clients,
Wow.
like, because our clients come in every single day. Most of them. The ones that come, they come Monday through Friday, or they come 3 days a week, and I see them at least once a week, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's
and so
enough.
yeah, yeah. And so I talk to a lot of people, and, like, I just feel like I have to, like, people are like, why don't you you should do a 7 a.m. class. They've asked us this for years, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's the 1 hour I get from I wake up at 3:50, and I'm literally on my feet till I get in my car to come home at 7, and then I come home for an hour, and I leave again at 8:10 to go back to work. um, and so, yeah, I have to say no. Like, as much as I know people would love the 7 a.m., I'm just like, I personally am not doing it. If we ever find someone who does want to do it, great. But I am stretched thin. So, like, and I also get asked, do I do one-on-one personal training? I do not have the time for it, because not only do I write three workouts a 3 workouts a week, I train 25 classes a week. I also I don't do most of the admin stuff. So
Wow.
you know, answer emails and I make sure our bills are getting paid as far as like the clients are paying, right? Like, so
Right,
I work
right,
past due payments. Um,
right.
I shop, I do everything. Like, I'm the day to day person. I'm the only one. And so,
Yeah.
um, it's just a whole lot. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Literally, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I think that some people think, oh, you're your own boss, or, they tell a business owner, it must be nice. And it's like, it is nice, but it takes a lot of work. And sometimes we may not be working when normal people are working, but we're always working when they aren't,
Yes.
right? Like, and
Yeah.
we're busting our butt, and we want to be successful, and so there's a lot more pressure than just going into work, you know.
Yep, absolutely. And so then when it comes to like running your business and doing all that stuff, I know you said there's like some co-owners and everything. Do you have like mentorship for running the business or a community that you talk to when you are, doing business like things?
Yeah, so we have our majority owner. She is in the guard, and so and so is one of the others. He's also in the guard, and then our other the other one, the fourth one,
Mm-hmm.
she works out at LCCC, and so yeah, I mean, I do lean on them a little bit, but Alex just had a baby 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and so she's got that, and so but I do belong to the networking group 307 Collaborative, it's called.
Cool.
And I, at first, so Monica, before she had, Monica is the majority owner's name.
Okay.
Before she went back to the guard full time, she had started doing this group.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's great. Like, she did it, I didn't do it. Well, when she went back to the guard, she wanted to stay in the group.
Mm,
So then it fell on me. And so, which is fine. We found, we have a backup trainer or two that switch between doing the noons so
cool.
that I can go to it because it's right at noon when we have a class. And
Wow.
so at first I really went, and it's been 3 years since she went back into like the guard full time, and so it's been a while. But I remember when I first went, I would just sit there, just. I'm like extroverted, but I'm also very introverted. Like, I wait to show people who I actually am because I can be a lot sometimes, and and plus I'm like, I don't know, this isn't what I do. I train. I don't need to do all this shit, stuff. And so at first it was just kind of I'm going because she wanted me to.
Yep.
But over time I started like getting more comfortable. I
Mm,
and we so I don't know if you've ever belonged to a networking group, but like we each take a week and we run it for that week. And so we have a running schedule. And so it came time for me to do that. It was my turn. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. But I think so I don't have a mentor to answer that question, but I do use this. I do use this group as a mentor is where I was going with that.
that's awesome.
Um, because they're all small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I have learned and grown so much from them.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like literally I don't know what I'm doing. And I know that sounds crazy and it's like, what? You're admitting that? But I'm just flying by the seat of my pants and I'm learning as I go. I didn't know what Canva was. I didn't never done marketing in my life. And if you follow our Facebook page or our Instagram page, um, I one day was just like, somebody's got to do this. We got to do this, right? We got to keep up with the keeping up. And so
Yeah.
I just, and it's funny because I'll go look at my first like graphics that I made and they were
Mm-hmm.
awful, but I thought they were great.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like getting a better eye for things and like literally just all self taught from YouTube videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I do all the marketing. I fix the website, which I taught myself how to do as well. Um, and so yeah, it's a lot, but I think that I don't know. I don't know really why I don't have a mentor, but I think the networking group is in place of that, and it's wonderful.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
so good to hear. Yeah, I think community and like groups as a whole where you can find that, like for you, it sounds like small business, but like that niche that really helps support filling in the gaps of like, I'm doing this thing. And even though it's not the exact same thing as everybody else, like I don't know anything about marketing or like all these other things. And I think that's the worst part about being a small business owner is you go into it thinking like I'm going to be able to do the one thing that I absolutely love to do all the time, right? Like
Yeah.
just train people. That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to do all day long. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Psych, you have to balance the books and you have to make
Right.
sure someone's credit card didn't decline
Yeah.
and good
Yeah.
luck calling people." Like
Yeah. And literally the only thing that I don't do is payroll. And we have an accountant and stuff. And so she does all that. So that's good because that part I definitely don't have any desire to learn because I'm not good with numbers. um, but other than that, yeah. And it it's just been a wonderful kind of experience. Like throw me in to the fire and baptize me that way. And that's kind of how it's worked out. And it's been kind of nice because I've been kind of able to learn on my own at my own time, on my own pace. And the other owners are amazing as far as it's weird. It's weird to have four owners and then I'm the one that runs the day to day stuff and I'm like there all the time and I do all the stuff and the things. And, I don't want to leave them out. They don't, and so it's like just this weird thing. And so I appreciate them so much for not, for just being there, especially when I need them. Like we'll have meetings on impromptu if I need to via Zoom and stuff like that. So it's just been good. It's just been, yeah, they've been great. So,
so do you ever think about retiring or like even the word legacy? Like what happens when you're ready to maybe just not be full time?
yeah, yeah, I have thought about that. Because I'm like, man, I mean, not anywhere near retirement age. However, my job is physically demanding.
Yeah.
And I'm currently struggling with some arthritis in my knee. So I'm like, I can't be having my body falling apart right now. Um, I honestly don't know what that looks like. I like as far as legacy goes. I've asked my daughter, "Would is this something you would want to do?" And I'm not the only owner with a kid, and so I don't know what that looks like. I haven't planned totally, but I've definitely thought about it. Like, or what am I? I'm going. We've been open 9 years, and
Yeah.
in May, this May, I'm gonna go on a trip that I've never gone on one. The longest I've been gone was when we went to nationals in Vegas, and then when we went and competed in San Diego. It was literally like 3 days. So I'm actually gonna do that, and I feel so confident in the other owners, of course, and then the backup trainers that we have that everything's gonna be fine. If you'd asked me that 5 years ago, I'd probably have been like, we
No.
can't do that because
Yeah.
it'll fall apart, right? Like
Right. Hmm.
if the because I train, I take that burden off a lot of people and get up at 3:50 every other day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And then Alex, our other owner, she does the other 2 days, and she was amazing she worked all the way up until she pretty much couldn't anymore, and then had her baby, and then she was right back at it.
Yeah.
So I think that we're just passionate at HIIT30 about your health, aging with grace, also being young and moving that body too, because we have clients all the way from 11 to 75 and everything in between. And so,
Right. So I
you
can
know,
imagine like fitness would still be a part of your life, especially into retirement.
yeah, yeah. And even if it's not, I mean, I'll have some part of it, I'm sure, but what that looks like, I don't know. But for now, we're just chugging. We have some exciting things that I can't really mention right now, but watch out,
Yeah.
for our Facebook and Instagram. And the other thing that I do that I didn't really get to mention is I don't do one-on-one training, but I do programming. So
Cool.
I program lifting routines for people, and then I switch it. I switch it every 4 to 6 weeks, and then they get a new one, and then they have access to me if they need to send me a video for form or they have a question. I'm really detailed in my instructions, sometimes too detailed because then they're like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But that is something that we do too that a lot of people don't really know about because it's not our bread and butter. But I think everybody should be implementing some kind of lifting regimen. It doesn't have to be heavy. Like when I think that I am associated with powerlifting, so when I say lifting, people are like, and I'm like, no, no, I'm not talking about powerlifting. I'm talking about keeping your bones and your tendons and your ligaments all moving your joints good and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, okay, so not like 500 pounds. And I'm like, no, it's not what I'm talking about. um,
Oh,
and so yeah, that's something that we don't do a lot of. But once I get people into it, they love it. So,
oh, that's awesome.
so
Would you say
yeah,
like
but
the community best like supports you on like Facebook and Instagram, that kind of thing?
yeah, honestly, it's as poopy as social media is on one side of the coin. Um, it's literally for us now, not for all businesses, but for our business, it's been an amazing marketing platform, all along with word of mouth. So between the two, word of mouth has been huge, like,
Hmm.
the biggest one, But between the two, that's yeah. So they can just go like us on either of those two platforms, Instagram or Facebook. We need to get the other ones, but it'll come with time.
That's what
I've
I'm
tried to
saying. Now
talk.
there's like so many of them.
I know, and you can like post one thing and it'll go to all of them, but TikTok's different to me. TikTok, I feels like you need to have videos, and I don't have time for videos. So that's why I keep trying to tell my daughter, you want to be the TikTok person? And she's like, yes. And then, she's in college and works, and so she doesn't have time. But
Hmm.
yeah, just supporting us, and, even if that means coming and trying us and getting the vibe, because we are a party. Like, we love each other as a whole community.
Yeah.
We are there for each other. I mean, we had one of our clients on intubated for 11 days during COVID, and we all pulled together and did like a um, fundraising workout for them. Um, we did a fundraising workout for Officer Mims, who was also very sick with COVID. And so I love to do that kind of thing. I love to raise money for people through fitness, and kind of like Thankful Thursday. Like, they like to do it there at the bar and drink and do raise money that way. I love to have a workout, call it a donation workout, bring $1, bring $5, whatever that looks like, and then give that money to somebody in need. So
That's incredible. That's awesome. I didn't even know that existed. So now I'm like, well, that's awesome. Like, I look forward to us being able to support you. And then you're like, there's things I can't mention yet. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
I'm so excited to be able to like follow the journey and be able to follow you.
Well, I
And
appreciate you.
yeah, well, I appreciate you. I think so many people miss how small businesses really become the fabric of our community.
Yeah.
Like it's
And I
not the big box stores or, any of that kind of stuff. It's the individual, like, community members that end up,
mhm.
having small businesses and really make those connections. I think people forget how vital that is to our mental health, right? Like everybody's on
Right.
their phone but like even just like when I go to my local gas station, I go to the same one every single time. And like
Yeah.
that friendship alone is like
Yep.
so nurturing. It's
And
so good.
especially with AI. I mean,
Hmm.
AI can do anything for you. You don't need a coach, you don't need a teacher pretty much. You just can get on AI. And so that is scary for anybody who has a small business, especially if you depend on relate like people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, I just have a natural ability to connect with people, and so I'm thankful for that, because honestly, I think it's the connection that keeps people coming. Not just to me. I mean, everybody as a team and as a whole is good at that. We all have our own,
Yeah.
little, like, they all train the evening classes. They have great relationships with those people.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that is what is going to get us through this next, technology age. Is, yeah, you can get it for free on ChatGPT or wherever, but you don't have a person checking up on you when
Yeah.
you're not there. You don't.
Yeah.
ChatGPT will write it for you, but they don't care. They don't care if you ever pick it up and do anything, right? And so that's what, like, getting that part out there. Like, we're still here. We're still valuable. Like, I know it's easy and cheap to go to ChatGPT or whatever your AI source is, but, like, please stick with the humans, because at the end we're gonna be here. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And it's just so much better for your mental health, like in general, to be able to
Yep.
talk to another person, see another person, those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Be in
It's
their
amazing.
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People need people.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, it's a that's a song by my dude Michael Franti right there. So,
Cool. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
but yeah, it was great talking to you. I appreciate it. I've never done this before, so but
Yeah.
I don't mind talking. So we
Good.
probably could
Well,
keep
I
going, but
really
I'll be
appreciate
quiet.
you. Yeah, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. And I hope that this like inspires you. I know that there's like a few other podcasts in Wyoming alone that are really just trying to, if I understand correctly, like spread the word about like small businesses or this community aspect
Yeah.
that most people just like, you don't know a resource is there until you hear about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's
So,
still people who are like, what's HIT 30? And I'm like, man, we've been here 9 years and we're kind of a small town. How do you
yes.
not know it? Well, no, I mean, but
Yeah.
you just forget, you think the whole world is right here in front of you on your phone, right?
Yeah.
And the whole world, there are people who don't have it or don't rely on it. You know, there are people who actually don't have it all the time. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, we do need to get that out there. So,
Yeah.
but
Awesome. Okay,
sweet.
great. Well, thank you so much. And if anything, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Awesome. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.